butternut squash. Quite an interesting ingredient. I always thought I didn't fancy it because it was sort of nuts and butter, and actually it's not. It's lovely, it's creamy. In Australia they call it pumpkin squash, right. But to me it's actually got a slightly creamier, nicer texture to it. And then we've got red peppers. So what we do is we chop those and roast them, and we end up with, can you all see from the picture that we end up with it that sort of size? That's been roasted for about 20 minutes at around 170. Don't chop them as small as that, because when they're cooked they will shrink. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to assemble this. Could I have one of those nice white square plates that Mr. Turner used earlier? Because if I use that, my food might look as good as his.
We're on it.
Also, we've got pumpkin seeds, quinoa, which is another interesting ingredient. Dates back 3,000-4,000 years from South America.
Yeah.
It's really high in protein, gluten-free, so it's a great substitute on vegetarian dishes. This is also lactose-free because that's pure sheep's feta from Crete, so there's no lactose in that, so anybody who's got wheat and dairy allergies can eat this dish, and even confirmed meat eaters say it's the nicest salad they've ever had. The other thing that you've got in here, which is another superfood, is pomegranate seeds.
Yeah.
And what's lovely, the reason everybody loves this dish is that it satisfies all 5 taste buds. Thank you very much. So in your mouth, you've got 5 different taste sensations: sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and what they call umami. And umami is actually the taste of essential amino acids that your body can't produce. And before we knew that we should have 5 a day and the government told us what we needed to eat, your body told you what you needed to eat. And if there's any children in the audience, you can tell your mummies and daddies that you do have a separate tummy for pudding. It's a fact. Your brain controls your appetite, so when you've eaten one food group and go, I'm full, and then a different food group comes out, your brain says, actually, there's different nutrients, I need those nutrients, I have room for ice cream.
Right, there we go.
It's marvellous.
Does that include cupcakes as well? Because we've got a cupcake workshop at the back.
Cupcakes, yeah. Includes wine as well, ladies. Definitely includes wine.
Everyone's a winner.
Yeah.
Great.
Which reminds me, if I get through this quick enough, I've got my new favourite cocktail over there to demonstrate.
Love it.
I was going to have it first, but then I decided it's probably made me more nervous, not less. Right, mixed leaves. And this is a really pretty salad as well. So just a few mixed leaves on there. And I'll talk you through the prep of the other ingredients that are going onto it. So we've got mixed leaves, grated carrot, peel it, grate it. That bit's not rocket science at all. And then after that, we put the quinoa. Now the quinoa, you can either cook on the hob in water, or when it was really, really hot a couple of weeks ago, we were working out what we could cook in the microwave to keep the kitchen as cool as possible. Quinoa cooks beautifully in the microwave. So this is what it looks like when it's cooked. It's quite pretty, hasn't got a huge amount of flavour, slightly nutty, but it gives texture. Then on top of that, we've got the sheep's feta, which you can either do crumbled like this or in cubes. Then we've got the roasted butternut squash and the red pepper. And on top of that, we've got dried cranberries. So this is where the sweetness comes in. So you've got the saltiness in the feta, the creaminess in the feta and in the butternut squash. You've got crunch in your carrots. You've got the sweetness and chewiness in the cranberries. We've then got pomegranate seeds. Put a few more on those at the end because they look pretty. And then the dressing has been made by my glamorous assistants down there. And the key ingredient, which is a little bit different, is pomegranate molasses. Pomegranates date right back to the Bible. Pomegranates are mentioned in the book of Exodus in the Bible. And it's, again, really good for you. And I think the reason that these sort of old ingredients that have been around for a long time are so good for us is that, digestively speaking, we don't evolve that quickly. And if you look at how much the diet's changed over the last 100 years, physiologically our bodies can't keep up with that, so we struggle. So when you look in a supermarket and all that processed rubbish, your body doesn't actually like it. It doesn't know what to do with it. It actually wants to start digesting complex things the minute you start eating them. So this is why it tastes great, but it's actually good for you as well. So the dressing has got lemon juice, lemon zest, fresh garlic, a little bit of honey, and a clean teaspoon. So all that has, I put the pumpkin seeds on after the dressing because I don't want my lovely crispy pumpkin seeds to go soggy. And when we've done, I'm hoping that there is a selection of little pots with this salad in so you can actually try it. A little bit of parsley. I know Leslie said yesterday don't chuck herbs on stuff unnecessarily, but it does actually work on this. Toasted pumpkin seeds. And just finish it off with a few more of the really pretty pomegranate seeds. And that's a lovely accompaniment to go with the tagine. And the flavours all work together because you're coming from the same part of the Med. It's sort of Eastern Med and North African.
Fabulous.
So
it's a lovely salad, isn't it?
It's really pretty. And that's little advert, that's on our menu. You can have it as a tapas dish this size or as a main course. Right, clear my mess up. I should have opened a restaurant years ago, my mum reckons. I was always cooking and making a mess, and the lovely thing having a restaurant is you have a kitchen porter who clears up after you. It's marvellous. This is my carrot that's been chopped using the basher. You can just do it using a knife. That is what is replacing the bulgur wheat. If you do need your carbs, you can use bulgur wheat instead. As I say, just steep it in water for about 10 minutes. We've then got de-seeded but not skinned tomato, which would just go in there with that. Chopped red onion, fresh parsley. Yep. Oh!
Is it fresh?
It's very fresh.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Look, and it's dry as well, fortunately. Makes a change from slopping other stuff down myself. There we go. And that's allspice and cinnamon.
What spice was that one?
The first one was ground allspice and cinnamon.
Yeah.
And then just mix that up. Don't let me put that in because that shouldn't have that on it. And then very, very simply, what's now a messy chopping board. And I will always, if I'm dressing anything, olive oil first because it sort of puts a protective layer around the ingredients. And then squeeze the lemon. And if you're being lazy, just put your hand there. It's a really good way of finding out if you've cut your fingers recently. Isn't it, Emily? Any seeds hopefully end up in your hands, not in the dish. So that's just olive oil. And then again, I'll just see what sort of seasoning. I don't think it needs anything else on that. Can I just, how do I turn that on? Just like that? Right, so there's your carrot tabbouleh, pomegranate and feta salad.